Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. When you're too much of an establishment neocon for someone like Brian Kilmeade at Fox News, that's really not a good look. GOP swamp creatures never fail to deliver. Deliver what exactly? Disappointment, distrust, frustration, and of course, play right into the Democrat strategic hand. Play right into Hakeem Jeffries and Nancy Pelosi's little political plot, little political plan. We're talking about the speakership vote, of course, once again. Jim Jordan is so close to making it past the finish line. Close, but no cigar. What's happening in Washington right now is so utterly ridiculous that, like I said, even Brian Kilmeade is in complete shock. His reaction to the chaos in Washington, caught on hot mic for everyone to hear in this viral moment, already getting millions of views on multiple platforms. Let me show you what happened. Let's talk about the sentiment, and of course, let's talk about what's going on. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright, so let's start off with the viral clip. Here was Brian Kilmeade's hot mic reaction.
Jordan. Auchincloss. Jeffries. Babin. Jordan. Bacon. McCarthy.
Dumb. I feel the exact same way. You know, it's pretty rare, at least on issues like this, for me to say something like that. I agree with Brian Kilmeade, but I do. I agree. That's the right reaction. I think there's 8 or 10 Republicans that are currently holding out, refusing to vote Jim Jordan in as speaker, and the whole thing just feels so incredibly stupid, you know? Dumbass is the right response. What they are doing makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. It's a very weird situation where we're seeing some of these Republicans pretend as if they're taking a principled stance. Representative Carlos A. Gimenez, a Republican from Miami, is taking a real principled stance against Matt Gaetz.
Kevin McCarthy. I've been very vocal about it. I've also been very consistent. Since Wednesday, I've been in the same place, and I'm going to stick to it. Look, 8 Republicans voted with 208 Democrats to oust the Speaker of the House, our Speaker of the House, our leader, that we supported by 96%. And so I think the way out of this is to go back into the future, I guess, and just reinstate Kevin McCarthy. Us, looking for another leader, et cetera, makes no sense whatsoever. 96%.
These arguments make absolutely no sense to me. You know who's the only person who's actually principled in this whole thing? Matt Gaetz. Oh, well, only 8 Republicans went rogue to oust Kevin McCarthy. That doesn't automatically make them the bad guys. That just means the 200 plus Republicans who didn't vote to oust McCarthy didn't have the cojones to do the right thing. Kevin McCarthy made certain promises to Matt Gaetz. He made promises to the Freedom Caucus ahead of the initial speakership vote in 2022. He reneged on most of those promises. He didn't fulfill his promises. And Matt Gaetz told him all the way back then that he would put forth a vote to remove Speaker McCarthy if McCarthy didn't keep his end of the bargain. And that's exactly what happened. So who's principled here? Matt Gaetz is the one who's principled. And now moving beyond that, because I mean, it's done at this point, it's old news, it's history, it's going to be written into the history books that Speaker McCarthy was removed. I think one of 2 speakers that's been removed, although I could be wrong, but anyways, it's quite rare. It's old news, it's old history at this point. Now it's time to find a new leader. And that leader should be Jim Jordan. He is the one individual that could actually unite the Republican Party, push forward real conservative legislation, and he has the people's support behind him. Yet these Republicans are trying to make a principled argument as to why they shouldn't vote for him? It makes no sense. The only principled thing to do here is to stop with all the nonsense, stop with the chaos, and to support Jim Jordan, who is supported by Republican voters, by voting Jim Jordan in as Speaker of the House. That is the only principled thing to do, especially considering he has all the major endorsements. Not only is Jim Jordan endorsed by Donald Trump, and that should mean something considering a good chunk of these Republican House representatives wouldn't even be serving in the House without a Trump endorsement. I mean, even Kevin McCarthy, that Jim Jordan is going to end up Speaker.
My prediction is Jim will win this, and even on the first round of votes. But you got to understand, why do we have this chaos? Is because Matt Gaetz and 7 other Republicans joined with every single Democrat to take out the Republican speaker. Can you imagine that, Sean? Joining with every single Democrat to try to take out the speaker, and created this chaos, simply for the fact that I believe to this day, and I will go down and believe it's the right decision, our troops are sitting in the Mediterranean right now. Their family just got paid. And could you imagine if we followed Matt Gaetz and not made sure that our troops were being paid, that we're asking them to defend this country while they're wondering if their loved ones are going to be able to pay the car payment or pay their rent or their house payment? I thought that was wrong, but that's the direction Matt Gaetz wanted to take us. So he joined all the Democrats to bring us this chaos with no plan in place. And I'm telling you, it harms us, as you know, Sean, having won a seat that a Democrat had, having helped us win the majority, and how tough it is to. And think of this. Matt Gaetz provides the same amount of money to the NRCC, our political arm, that Nancy Pelosi provides. Zero.
You know, even Kevin McCarthy is saying Jim Jordan's going to end up speaker, so what's the issue? Just vote for Jim Jordan. He then goes on to say, oh, Matt Gaetz caused all this chaos. At this point, no, Matt Gaetz didn't cause this chaos. It's the 7 standouts playing directly into the Democrat hand. Democrats voted with Matt Gaetz for one reason alone. They wanted to plunge the Republican House into chaos. They want to point the finger and make the point that, oh, Republicans are dysfunctional, it's in disarray. The extreme MAGA Republicans can't get it together. Well, any Republican who's currently not voting Jim Jordan is playing directly into that narrative. They are playing directly into the Nancy Pelosi narrative. Where have we seen this before? Republicans buying into and promoting, uplifting the Nancy Pelosi Democrat bogus narrative? It's nothing new, is it? These principled Republican standouts are trying to make the argument that they're the only serious people here. Again, laughable. A big frickin' joke. Apparently these guys are the real serious principled Republicans.
Oh, he did not vote for Congressman Jim Jordan, instead voting for Tom Emmer. Well, I guess my first question is, do you really want Tom Emmer to be Speaker?
No, I don't. I don't like Tom Emmer. I figured this would be the worst job in America. Mike Rowe would not want to do this for his TV show. This is a terrible job.
Okay, so just to underscore that, you voted for somebody because you don't like them.
I voted for somebody because I wasn't going to vote for Jim Jordan.
But you don't.
There's nothing serious about what they're doing. If they were serious about their job, if they were serious about using their House majority to push forward actual conservative legislation, they wouldn't be slandering Matt Gaetz in the press. They'd be praising him. But just to cap off this video, there's only one thing to do here. There's only one way to cross that finish line, to get the job done. And that responsibility falls on your shoulders. It's time to put pressure on the 9 Republicans who refuse to do the right thing. And I know, confusing video. At the start I said 8 to 10, then I said 7, then I said 9. I keep seeing different numbers, but I've confirmed it's actually 8 Republicans that are voting no, if I'm not mistaken. That's Don Bacon, Mario Diaz-Balart, Carlos Jimenez, Frank Lucas, John Rutherford, Mike Simpson, Steve Womack, and Ken Buck. If the pressure starts to mount from their constituents to vote for Jim Jordan, if they're getting 100 calls and emails supporting Jim Jordan to every 1 call or email supporting Kevin McCarthy, well then at that point they're literally not going to have a choice. They'll end up caving and be exposed for the fools that they are. Real principled Republicans. Causing chaos, bad PR, by refusing to vote for and accept the speaker that their voters want. An absolute disgrace. They have no moral high ground. A very weird thing to be lectured on principles coming from Washington's swamp creatures. A little bit rocky, a little bit chaotic, but I think in the end, Jim Jordan's gonna pull through. Boy, is that gonna be an interesting era. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, friends, and I'll see you on the next one.